and my mind is baffled. The only thing indigenous to the U.S. is racism. To save our assets, as a method to save our assets, I say that we don't go to the racist father to protect us from his racist sons. It is the racism of the U.S. that we are seeking liberation from, and the majority of people in this room and the rising consciousness of our Lahui understands that independence is the only thing that will give us a saving chance to protect our lands and to protect our people and to protect the earth. It's not even just about Hawaii at this point. It's about the whole entire planet that is going down in the flames because of the racist actions of the first world. So I'd like to spend the remainder of my time talking a little bit about concrete reasons why we seek independence. And I want to invite those who are holding the signs to consider and support the following statements as one of the 400,000 plus of us Lahui Kanaka. This is a Kako issue. We know our history, first of all. We know that we are an independent country under U.S. occupation. We want to do justice to that history. We want to honor our kupuna and our ali'i because that is who we are as a Hawaiian people. That is who makes up our identity. That's where our identity comes from. We know that our lands were seized at the time of the overthrow. This is not news to anybody here. These are our crown and government lands. But we want all of our lands back. And we want full and perpetual control of our crown and government lands. We are not okay with having them be settled, having them be digged out and put into negotiation with the state of Hawaii, which is the only reason I can understand why this new state recognition thing is even on the table. To be able to go into negotiations with a governing entity over our assets, over our national lands. We're not okay with that. We know that there are certain things happening on these national lands of ours that the U.S. will never relinquish control of through federal recognition. And one of them is happening on Pohakuloa. As well as the rest of our militarized lands are being bombarded, they're being bombed, they're being dug out for special cities, and worst of all, to me, is that Pohakuloa is being used to train other armies around the world, such as the Indonesian army, to slaughter the West Papuans, our Pacific cousins. We as Hawaiians have kuleana in the Pacific. We need to stand up to that kuleana. We are so far beyond the protection of what little we have from these racists. We have bigger issues. We have our lands being used to make war. We have corporations that are exploiting our lands, and some of them are our national lands, for profit, poisoning our lands, poisoning our neighborhoods. We're talking about agribusiness, corporate agribusiness. And what we have coming down the pipeline is something called the TPPA, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is creating international courts. We want to talk about international law and international courts. It's creating international courts so that these multinational corporations can sue governments when they feel that their rights are being infringed upon, meaning their profits. These are the kinds of things we need to be thinking about. This is the level we need to be looking at when it comes to the protection of our country. And when it comes to stepping up to our kuleana to not allow our country to be exploited, and especially for the violence of other people around the world. Lastly, I only have 30 seconds left. I do not support this process that comes out of Act 195 until it's not just about educating about independence, it's also about putting the money and the work behind independence routes that have been put behind federal recognition. And until that happens, any way that you engage independence folks, as far as I'm concerned, is just an attempt to manufacture consent. So it's just an attempt to make it look like there's been a fair and democratic process when in fact there hasn't. It's been very unfair. And until that happens, I won't participate in any new role, in any new registration. I will participate and register when I see that things are happening in a Pono fair and balanced way.